She trusted him more than anyone. To Dawn Brancheau, Tilikum was not just a whale. He was family. She spent years studying his signals, rewarding his obedience, believing their bond was unshakable. But on February 24th, 2010, that trust dissolved into horror. On that day, the largest killer whale in captivity reminded the world that wild instincts never truly die. The stands at SeaWorld Orlando were full. Families gathered for the Dine with Shamu show. Children pressed against the glass. Dawn appeared, confident, beloved by crowds, moving with the grace of someone who believed she was safe. In the pool, circling quietly, was Tilikum, 12,000 pounds of raw muscle, calm on the surface, hiding a storm within. Tilikum's past was already written in blood. Captured as a calf in Iceland, torn from his family, he spent his early years at sea end of the Pacific in Canada, bullied by older females, scarred and isolated. In 1991, he was part of the drowning of trainer Kelty Byrne. Years later at SeaWorld, another death, Daniel Dukes, a trespasser, was found naked and mutilated on his back. Still, he remained in shows, valuable as both performer and breeder. He fathered more than 20 calves, his genes central to SeaWorld's business. Trainers whispered of his cold stare, his unpredictability, but the show went on. On that February afternoon, Dawn believed she could manage him as always. She directed him with hand signals, stroked his head, rewarded him with fish. To the audience, it was harmony. At 1:38 p.m., it turned into horror. In a flash, Tilikum lunged, clamping his jaws on Dawn's ponytail. He yanked her into the water. Some thought it was part of the show, until the splashing turned violent. Screams erupted. Trainers rushed with nets and poles, but Tilikum thrashed her, the water swirling red. For 45 excruciating minutes, he refused to let go, surfacing with her limp body, diving again, holding her captive until staff forced him into a smaller pool. Even then, they had to pry his jaws apart. The autopsy revealed the full horror. For her, jaw fractured, ribs broken, spine severed, scalp torn away, her arm completely gone. She drowned, but the blunt force injuries alone could have been fatal. It was a death of merciless violence. Florida quickly passed a law to block the release of the surveillance footage, ensuring the public would never see what really happened. Why did he do it? Some said it was Dawn's ponytail mistaken for a toy. Others said instinct. But many pointed to the deeper truth, captivity. Orcas in the wild swim 100 miles a day, live in tight family pods, communicate with unique dialects. In tanks, they circle endlessly, their sonar trapped by concrete, their minds unraveling. Tilikum was often kept alone, rejected by females, used only to perform and breed. Experts believe the attack was not random. It was rage, the inevitable result of decades of isolation and psychological collapse. SeaWorld called it a tragic accident. They blamed Dawn, not the whale. But trainers had warned of Tilikum's danger for years. He was too valuable to retire. And for that, a woman paid with her life. In 2013, Blackfish exposed what SeaWorld tried to hide: the suffering of captive orcas, the ignored warnings, the history of aggression. The film sparked outrage, boycotts, and financial collapse. SeaWorld eventually ended its breeding program and theatrical shows, but the damage to its reputation was permanent. Tilikum lived 7 more years, mostly in isolation. He died in 2017 of a lung infection, infamous as the whale who killed 3 people, the whale who destroyed SeaWorld's empire, and the whale who reminded humanity that trust cannot cage nature. And that was the root of it all: betrayal, born of captivity. Dawn believed in love and trust. SeaWorld believed in control. But Tilikum, crushed by decades of confinement, rejected both. His final act was not just instinct. It was the outburst of a prisoner who could not take it anymore. For 45 minutes, Dawn's final struggle unfolded before horrified eyes. And even now, the question lingers. Was it accident, rage, or deliberate rebellion against a life of suffering? The truth may never be known. But what the world saw that day was loyalty turned to terror, love drowned in betrayal, and trust shattered by the fury of the wild.